guys, welcome to another episode of Renaissance-Bodybuilder, a sneak peek into my mental health journey as I navigate through what it really means to be on a journey of self-discovery. I'm your host, Michael Otule. Welcome. How are y'all? I hope everyone is doing okay. It's been a lot going on in this world, everything from adults with kids fighting on kids' birthdays to the government shut down, and then you have one side blaming the other when this one side owns pretty much all of the government. So it's a lot going on. It's a lot going on. But hey, we are here. Amen. And we are alive. First, I want to start off by saying happy Nigerian Independence Day. To my Nigerian people, what's good? Shout out Ibe Kwenu. Hey! Speaking to my Nigerian people, what do you usually do on Nigerian Independence Day? Is it like a ritual in your household? Do the whole barbecue thing, or do you meet up with the family? Like, what do you guys do? For us, we do nothing. It's unfortunately just another day, but I think I want to maybe even start making that like a thing, like a real traditional thing. It's, be really proud of who I am, be proud of the Nigerian culture that I come from. You know what I mean? I don't know if I said this before, but so I started dating. But then I think I went on like a date, and after the date, I was just like, no, I can't do this. I'm not ready. I thought I was, but I'm not. It is a lot for me at the moment right now, just because a lot of my focus is more on me and what I want to do with my life and trying to build that, and less about checking in on someone every single day. I'm not saying that that's a bad thing. It's just not the headspace that I'm in right now. But it's also a tricky place to be in because I am meeting great people, right? Don't get me wrong. And then when these great people want to now start reaching out to me, even on like some friendship, trying to build a friendship level, I'm just like, even that is just like a lot for me at the moment right now. So I'm just trying to, I guess I'm trying to take it slower than what I thought I was taking it, and just take my time with it. When I'm building these friendships or relationships, if you will, I'm communicating where I'm at with that, in the sense of, I don't want to lead you on. I don't want to be one of those people that you complain about, where I've seen a post where say like, oh, we hang out, we do this, we do that, and you still want to be friends. Yes. I'm looking for emotionally mature people to where I can state where I want to be, how I want this relationship to go, and then they not now try to manipulate me and or try to turn it into something that it's not. With that being said, the friends that I do have, like my core group of friends that I am really blessed to still have in the midst of all the mess that happened, I feel truly blessed because we, met this past weekend and really had like a really, really good heart to heart, a really good talk. When you can sit with your friends, one, be very, very comfortable, be your complete self with your friends. Two, you are now also complimenting each other. The reason why I even met up with them for brunch was we were celebrating one of my friends who got a promotion at their job. Doing stuff like that just felt really, 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 really good. And why I really just even brought this up and why I'm super grateful is because in this core group of friends, I like hanging out and being around A-type personality people who are like straight shooters, people who don't beat around the bush, people who are a little, like, whoa, calm down type people, you know what I mean? And people who know me, I'm more of the quiet person, if you will. Like, I'm more of the, I'll laugh at your jokes, I'll ad lib here and there. Oh, right, yeah, I know, I did that too, type person in the group, and not necessarily often speaking out or speaking on certain topics that we're talking about. And I actually figured out where that came from. Growing up very sheltered, I didn't have space to really speak or talk or even just express myself. So I never really learned those skills, especially when in a group setting. So in this specific group setting, when I do speak or when I have something to say, I love the fact that, and it's super small, but I love the fact that my friends are just like, oh, wait, Micah's speaking. Mike, you have something to say. Like, including me in the conversation when I do have something to say, and then it being really, really quiet and everyone listening to what I have to say and taking it in, and then we are piggybacking off of that. So I felt really, really great. I felt really, really seen in this time that I'm in, I guess you could say, right now, when it comes to like relationships, friendships, stuff like that. Another thing, I do not want to slip back into that seasonal depression that I was in. What was it 2 years ago? Or a year ago? A year ago, yeah, a year ago. Don't want to do that again. So I need to start taking some steps to make sure that I don't fall into that. So I wrote down a couple of steps that I want to share with you guys that I'm definitely going to be implementing. Starting with, it says move your body. Moving your body meaning like going outside. I read this one point that said one of the best things to do is once you wake up in the morning, go right outside. And just so that you can kind of, get that morning air, get that fresh sun right on your skin, right on, and, feel all of that. So that's what I want to definitely start doing. Like, get on a real routine. I want to start going to the gym in the mornings. Ugh, I want to be a morning gym person so bad, y'all. So bad. But that will require me to go to bed early, which I feel like now that it's getting dark early, I can do that, right? Like I can, say, okay, oh, it's time to get, it's getting dark. Time to start, winding down. Another point is nourishing and vitamins, making sure that you're nourishing your body with food that you need to stay healthy, but then also vitamin. I read that vitamin D obviously is one of the big aspects that a lot of people miss, especially when it starts to get dark early. So I hiked up the potency of the vitamin D that I take. My normal potency is, I believe, like I think it was like the 1500 one, like 1500 UI or UIG or something like that. It was the lower one, but then now I got the extra strength where it's like 5000. So I definitely got it, and I started it now. Like I already started it, so that when it gets fully up in the groove of things, which I think October, November, around that first week of November is where we're falling back on the time. I need to be set already. All right. And then the final step is connection and wind down. Connection in the sense of like talking to someone every day. And that's what I mentioned last time, where I was just like, I was in my love story. I didn't really realize all the things that was going around me. So transitioning that connection over to like friends or family, and or even just like self-love stuff, like self-love activities, getting more into that. Even like with the wind down, reading more books, meditating when it's time to go to bed, so I can like, again, get myself on a schedule. Speaking of wind down and reading books, I think it's about that time where I get back into like my self-help bag, start reading some books so I could continually learn and continually learn about myself. I feel like that's the whole point about this podcast. So I've built a list of like about 7 books just from recommendations that I've picked up and I want to start, but I'll read out 3 of them here. One of them that I actually just started today was Your Next 5 Moves by Patrick Bet-David. This one is more about playing chess with your life, right? So basically thinking about your next 5 moves in every case scenario that you're in, especially when it comes to business and how you want your business to grow and how you want your business to look. With me and my podcast, I want to take my podcast to the next level. So what does that look like? I need to start planning that out so that, and then actually take action on those moves. That's actually one of the most important parts. I do a lot of planning, but the action part is where I kind of need to follow through more on. Another one is called No BS Marketing to the Affluent. No BS, which is a series, and then Marketing to the Affluent by Dan Kennedy. Basically, marketing to the affluent is how do you put your business or whatever you have, your product out there to people who will actually pay for it. You know what I mean? So again, with this podcast, I'm in the process of looking for sponsorships. I'm sending out my one pager to a lot of sponsors so I can get some sponsorship money. How can I market my brand, market this podcast to get more money? And the last one is called Finding Me by Viola Davis. I love me a good memoir. So this one I just wanted to pick up and see, one of the things I'm more so interested in is to see her journey, because remember, she's on the list of people who didn't get their start until late in the game. So what did she do to even get there? And then now that she was, pretty much established in her career, and then got this big break, what are the steps that she's taking to, just keep true to herself, in the midst of all the celebrity, you know what I mean? So that's what I'm more so interested in that book. Do I feel like I'm late in the game? Maybe. And the only reason why I feel like I'm late in the game is because, I mean, I was talking to one of my friends about this too, is that I feel like I could have been one of those like YouTube people when YouTube was first starting. Like I wanted to, but I just never did it. Follow through. I never followed through on it. And then now look. So yeah, I want to read that book just to kind of get some, pointers. So if y'all have any recommendations, definitely put them down in the comment section. We can all share. I'll even put it down the other books that I have slated for me to read this year and or next year. So, okay. Let's move on to the 3 affirmations that I found favorable this week, starting with I have confidence that everything will work out as planned. This one is tricky. This one is tricky because, like I said, I plan all day, every day. Will it go as I plan? More than likely, no. But will I be able to pivot when I need to and not crash out when times get hard? Like, that is like one of my main concerns. So repeating this affirmation for me would definitely help say, all right, I have a plan, just keep moving. I have a plan, just keep moving. You know what I mean? The next one is my thoughts and actions express love. I love, love, love this one because, yeah, like, I feel like everything that I do, everything that I say, everything that I express is within love. Either I love to do it, I love the person that I'm doing it for, or I love just being in the midst of the camaraderie of love. Whatever that means. But yeah. I really, really like that one. And then finally, I love my life. This one just speaks to me really enjoying the life that I've built for myself and building, but also appreciating the bumps in the road, the lessons that I'm learning, the mistakes that I make. It's a full on picture of love. I just love, I love love. I love my life. Those are the 3 affirmations that I found favorable this week. These affirmations can be found on the I Am app in your app store. All right, so let's get into what this show is about. From the title, you see that I want to treat this episode as a journal entry. For those of you who are new here, I love journaling. And I say this all the time. I journal day and night and throughout the day. So why not have a journal entry episode? I'm going to read out 5 journal entries that I found, and I definitely encourage you to answer these journal entries on your own as well. You can answer them like within 5 days or all in one day. Either way, I definitely encourage you to take them for yourself. So let's jump right in. What was a moment in your life that completely shifted the way you see yourself, and how did it shape who you are today? I think this moment for me was when I moved away or out of Houston to DC. This was the first time I've ever moved anywhere outside of Texas. I went to Sam Houston State University in Huntsville, Texas. Other than that, I've never lived outside of Texas. This was like a big jump for me. Not only was this something that I wanted to and yearned to do, this was something I needed to do just because of several reasons. One of them being I needed to get out of my comfort zone. 33 years in Houston, not moving around, you could get comfortable very easily. And then I feel like for me, this was also a place where I was still hiding who I was completely. I wasn't really true to myself. So was I really comfortable? Great question. So I needed to get out and explore who I was outside of that. Another reason was on a deeper level was I needed to get away from my parents. Like, my parents were pretty much on me. Like, not only were they on me because I wasn't dating women, and there were a couple of instances where they were just like, are you gay? So it was always like, are you dating women? Are you dating? Are you dating women? Are you dating? What are you doing with your life? Da da da. It was constant, right? Also, they were like deeply into my business. Like, also, I felt like I never, felt respect. It was a multitude of things that I needed to get away from. So when I finally moved, it was one of those things where I was just like, wow, I did it. Like, if you put your mind to something, it feels really, really good to be on the other side. Oh, and another thing was I would have conversations with people who did not live in Houston, who are visiting, who are traveling, who even moved to Houston. And their story was like, oh, I stayed here for 2 years. Stayed here for 5 years. I stayed here for 3 years. And I always felt like people who did that were, so well rounded because they had different experiences at these different places and didn't just stay in one place and was basically, like in a box. You know what I mean? So I wanted that to be my story. I wanted to say, oh, I lived in Houston, I lived in DC, I lived here, I lived there. So that was another reason why I was just like, I need to get up out of here. Now, how did all of this change my perspective in life? Like, it changed it in a way where I don't see limits anymore. I don't see myself being placed in boxes. I don't see why we can't actually go after our goals. I don't see why like anything should stop you from being great. I think we place limits on ourselves and then we actually believe in those limits. You know what I mean? With me moving, it not only told me that like I can plan something and execute, but I can also not place limits on myself and really, really, truly explore and experience life the way it should be. And that aspect followed me throughout like life. Another reason why I wanted to do this podcast is because I want people to think differently. Yes, there's your way, but then there's also another way to think about a lot of topics, a lot of things that we talk about every single day. So yeah, next question. How do you balance being an athlete, entrepreneur, content creator, and having a full-time job while still making space for your mental health? Barely. Barely. What? I am barely doing it. I don't know what that's talking about. No, I'm just playing. But boundaries. I place boundaries on a lot of things and I'm even still working on this where I allot time for the things that I want to do. And dare I say, even add in keeping adult friendships. Go ahead, add that in there too, because that has been a doozy. Literally by placing boundaries on things that need my time. So for work, I know it's a 9 to 5. While I'm at work, I'll try to multitask on things that I can do. But for the most part, when I'm at work, I'm at work, right? When I'm at the gym, I'm at the gym, especially at the gym. I treat my gym times as I do anything else because it's super important for me to really focus in on muscle growth, mind to muscle connection, because I was gonna say like my mental within the gym, but I, for me personally, I don't see the gym as my therapy because in the gym I'm also thinking about whatever body parts that I'm working on and making sure that those body parts are being worked as they should. I'm also thinking about like the food. Did I eat enough food for today? Did I get enough nutrition in? How much protein did I get in? Did I take my vitamins? So it's just like, I'm always thinking about like if I am fully getting everything that I need out of the gym while I'm in the gym. Even with, this now adding on entrepreneurship and content creation, I have to make time for these things, even when sometimes I don't want to. So, but having a plan, having a goal obviously helps with that. But yeah, just really setting boundaries around the things that I really want to do so that I can focus solely on that. And then say I focus in on content creation for an hour and a half. And so for that hour and a half, I am doing nothing but content creation so that when I move on to the next one, I can fully leave behind the content creation, say, okay, I've given my all during that hour and a half for the day, so now I can move on to something else that I can give my full on attention to. It's definitely about giving my attention to the certain things that I need to when needed. That really, really helps. Next question. What's a lesson you learned the hard way that you now carry with you everywhere, and how has it influenced your decisions? For me, would be procrastination is a killer of progress. As I am wanting to do so much with everything that with my career, with my business, basically trying to leave a mark on this world, I am finding that procrastination cannot be in my plan. Procrastination can't be on the plan. It just only holds you back. One, two, I feel like procrastination kind of makes me feel lazy. Like sometimes taking the lazy rate out and I'm saying I'm blaming it on other things like oh, I'm just not feeling like it today when I have nothing but time and energy to do it. Of course, I have many to-do lists, but one of the things that I've brought up in the past is that my mentor has told me is taking it one step at a time, taking it in increments. And that has helped a lot. I finally LLC'd my podcast after steps of, from the research part to actually doing it. And I'm like really, really happy about that. But like, if you continue just doing it, like for 30 minutes a day, whatever it may be, whatever, even if it's like content creation, editing, whatever, 30 minutes a day, just to keep it moving forward, even if it's like research on something, a little bit goes a long way. Okay. Next question. What do you do just for pure joy? Something that has nothing to do with goals, productivity, or success. Can you guess? Plants. Y'all already know. Plants has literally been my peace of mind. The reason why I don't want to do like plant content is because this is like for me. The only plant content that I would do is me showing you that what I do around my house or going to a plant store, what I do there. But as for like going around here naming them and, doing what other plant content creators do, which I really appreciate and I follow all of them. I'm not going that far. They can have it. I'm literally just doing this for pure joy and me. Even when it comes to, giving advice to my friends, I don't mind. I love doing it. And then people will say, oh, you should get paid for it. No, I'm good. Like I'm doing this out of pure love for plants and the peace that I find, or when I'm, messing with these plants around here. It definitely calms my nerves. It definitely is my escape. It's something that I just enjoy doing. So when I tell people, what are your hobbies? This is what I'm talking about. Like, what do you love to just do that you don't even have to like share with everybody? Like, I know we're in a content creation world or space right now, but like, is this something that you don't have to share and still feel good about it? You know what I mean? Because it is solely for you, not for everybody else. And then lastly, if people could only remember you for one message, habit, or philosophy, what would it be and why? And I want to apply this to everything. I know that a lot of us follow the Bible. I know a lot of us follow tradition, and I know a lot of us listen to our elders when they, speak about certain things, about certain topics, and give you advice, stuff like that. But I also want to make sure that you are not limiting yourself by these three things or anything else. If it is something that you want to do, pursue, explore, and it is not hurting you or someone else, why not? I ask the simple question, why not? And this comes from, again, like I mentioned at the top of the show, I have been sheltered for a very, very long time. Sheltered in the sense of anything that I wanted to do was a no. Anything that I wanted to wear was a no. I was this mama's boy and I was attached to her hip. So anywhere she went, I went. I got to do nothing. I got to see nothing. Now that I am, away from Houston on my own, how I view life right now is unlimited. So many places that you can go. So many things that you can really, really explore if you give it a chance. How do you know what you don't know? Right? And that's what I say a lot about, especially when, especially a lot like with tradition and when elders talk, because it's like they're speaking from a place and time that we are just not in anymore. I'm not saying that we can't listen to them. I'm not saying that we don't take their advice, but I just say also take their advice, but then also open up your mind to new things. Be open minded to a lot of new things, because I promise you, like, this world is huge. And this is one of the things I also realized a long time ago, is that this world is huge. Why am I limiting myself to just this little corner of the world? There are so many different viewpoints. There are so many different explanations to things. Just explore. Like, get in the habit of exploring life. Get in the habit of just really exploring your options. Also, I know we are all very opinionated. We all have our own opinions. We all have our own way of thinking. But I encourage you to get a different viewpoint. You are limiting yourself to just one viewpoint. Now, that can get tricky, because just like, yes, there's a right and wrong way to things, but I just really, really encourage people to think and then think again. Your future self will thank you, I promise you. But yeah, that is the episode. What do y'all think? Let me know in the comments below. I would definitely love to hear you guys' answers on these journal entries. Definitely put them in the comments below so we can discuss. Even if any of my answers touched you, moved you, or bothered you in any way, put it in the comments below. Let's discuss. I love discussing with like-minded people. But again, thank you so much. Thank you so much for listening, commenting, subscribing, and sharing. It's really, really, really been a blessing, and a huge blessing in the sense that I have been having so many people who want to actually join the podcast and speak on it and stuff like that. And I'm kind of like wrestling with that, because it's just like, I love being solo on this podcast, and that was like my plan. That was my mission, to be a solo podcast, and then, eventually over time, just kind of bring in guests one at a time here and there. Not like it being a show where I always bring guests, if that makes sense. All in all, I just been very, very super blessed and super grateful to even have people reach out to me to want to be on the show, which is wild to me. It's a good feeling. Until next time, peace.